Welcome, and I'm so excited for you. I'm Natalia, I'm a stay-home mom. I'm an immigrant. I started with zero, no money, no experience, just a vision for freedom. And today you will hear from the man who helped me build it, Brandon Brown, a Najik's top earner, and you will learn the simple system behind Mailbox, how to start with zero down, ways to earn while helping others to do the same, and how to build freedom and flexibility into your lifestyle. Let's dive in.
Moving and shaking, my friends. Brandon Brown here. I hope you guys are having an absolutely phenomenal day today. Welcome to tonight's webinar. We're going to be kicking this thing off here shortly. Let me see if we can open up the chats. Awesome. Guys, do me a huge favor. Let me know where you're tuning in from. So we can kind of get a finger on a pulse of where everybody's here from. And I promise tonight you are in for an absolute treat. If you are looking to create more lifestyle, more time freedom, and really build a robust business that you and your family can essentially live off of for the rest of time. So do me a favor, let me know where you guys are here from in the comments. We're going to get this party started here in just a minute. So welcome. We're going to give everybody about 1 or 2 more minutes to pile on here. Super excited to have everybody on. And to really get this thing cooking. Actually, I'm gonna take this off because that's how I'm feeling right now. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off. I was a little cold, but I'm feeling a little hot right now. Alrighty, guys. So we're gonna give everybody about 1 more minute to jump on. Again, welcome. Tonight is one of those defining moments in your life that if you catch a vision, okay, for everything that I'm going to talk to you about tonight, your life can change in the next 12 months, unlike anything that you've probably ever could think about. All right. So do me a favor, guys. Okay, great. Okay, good. I see it. All righty. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just jump straight into this. So stick around to the very end. Because it's rare that somebody is gonna give you this type of information. And I remember when I first heard about this, I just kept an open mind and I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of see what this is all about. And literally this has changed my life. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, but before I do that, I just want to get your guys' permission. Is it okay if we talk about money? Okay, is it okay if we talk about money tonight? I know some people get a little bit sketched out, a little weird, but I just want to know, drop a 1 in the comment if we can talk about money, because we are living in times right now where you need cash flow. Okay, you need revenue. And I'm going to be very transparent with some numbers, and I want to show you what is possible. Even if you have some other things going on in life, some other businesses, this can be able to supplement your income and really help you create some powerful additional revenue streams. All right, cool. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let me do that here. Let's see here. Where are the controls? Oh, here we are back here. Okay, cool. All righty. Guys, do me a quick favor and let me know, are you guys able to see my screen? Just go ahead and drop a 5 in the chat just so I can make sure you guys can see me. Good. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. All righty. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into this. So welcome to Mailbox Money Blueprint. Okay, and this is the exact strategies for how my wife and I have been able to homeschool our kids, travel the world, and really help so many people around the world create lifestyle and time freedom. Okay, it is with this Mailbox Money blueprint. Okay, so if you are looking for Mailbox Money and you want to create an automated way to generate revenue, a duplicatable way so that you can have predictable profits coming in like clockwork, this is it. You don't need anything else in your life. This is it. All right. So you guys gave me permission to talk about money. So we're going to do that. Okay. We're going to talk about Mailbox Money. All right. So the first thing I want you to understand about me is, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay. These are actually my high school transcripts. As you can see here, there's my name right there, Brandon Brown. And I literally, according to the grading system, okay, I was a below average student in school. All right. So you can see D, 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 B, F. And then you can see my 12th grade year, I graduated barely. All right, with a D minus. Okay. I got a 1.0 GPA in school. Okay. So I literally grew up. I was a special education student. I had learning disabilities. I didn't go to college. I don't have any degrees, any certifications. And honestly, they said I was going to amount to nothing. Okay. And this industry that I'm going to introduce you to gave me a second chance. Okay. And it also exposed the school industry as well, too, because they told me that if I don't have a college degree, I wasn't going to amount to nothing. All right. Well, fast forward to today. Okay. Here's a deposit I made last week. Okay. So if you were on the if you were on the webinar last week, you would have seen this deposit right here for $14,159. This is just one deposit. I think last week we deposited about $30,000. I was like 35,000. Okay. So you can see this is my actual deposit from one of our business accounts. Okay. But you might be thinking, you know what, Brandon, maybe you got lucky. Okay. Maybe that was just a lucky day, a lucky week, lucky month. But I assure you that it wasn't luck. Okay. Because today I went to the mailbox. Okay, because we're talking about Mailbox Money. You can see 10/22/25. Here's a check for $50,000. Okay, that's USD. I'm in Canada, by the way. I'm in Vancouver, BC. So that's around 70 grand. Okay. Here's another one for $23,933. All right. This was on the 24th. Okay. And then here's another one for $6,116. Now, how does a D student deposit $83,000 today? Okay, which is a grand total of over $117,000 in Canadian today. How does he do that? Okay, and drop a 2 if you would like to experience this kind of lifestyle where you go to your mailbox and you got checks literally that are the same amount of money that people work in a whole year. You're able to literally make those in one day. Okay, that's what I'm going to be showing you how to do. Now, can I guarantee that? No. Can I promise that? No. Nobody can promise anything. Okay, I can only show you what I do, how I do it, and how I have helped other people do it. Okay, and there is nobody, honestly, else in the world that's going to spend the time out of their day when they just deposited over, $117,000. Going to take the time out to really educate you and really break down the philosophy and everything that they're doing. Okay. And then give you an opportunity to mentor you. So if you've been looking for change, if you've been looking for a way to turn the corner, to travel more, to have more experiences, then this is that Mailbox Money training for you. Okay. Now, what's more important than that is this right here. Okay. This is called legacy income, right? And these numbers might not mean anything to you right now, but 682-4, 682-3-2, and -2, these are significant milestones for our family, because that means that our kids literally are never going to have to worry about money ever. Okay. Like their parents made a wise decision to focus on building what we call legacy income that can be passed down to them for generations to come. And they're going to be able to start their own businesses and do their own thing because of the work that we did ahead of time. So I always tell people, you might be making some money today, but can you pass that money down? Are you hustling for your first name or are you hustling for your last name? And I think it's just a responsible thing to do to hustle for your last name, which is why we created this movement called Legacy and Freedom, because we want to leave a legacy for our kids, but we also want the cash flow. Okay. We also want the cash flow to be able to do big things. All right. Now, here is some of the things that we have been able to do with this type of cash flow. Okay. We've been able to homeschool our kids, which is really, to me, the most exciting thing, because I don't have to put my kids in the traditional school system where they're learning God knows what from God knows who. We've been able to fly first class to Europe. All right, this is a picture of my two daughters in first class watching Toy Story. This is a beach in Europe that has like the biggest waves in the entire world, called Nazaré. We've been able to build our dream home. We've been able to, shop wherever we want to go. This wedding ring was really significant for me because when I first met my wife, I could not afford to buy her a wedding ring. In fact, we got married inside of her mother's living room with her parents, or her parents are divorced. We got their divorce rings, and that's what we married with, in her mother's living room. No fancy wedding. In fact, we went to a local little steak dinner right after we got married. And her dad asked me, what do I want as a gift? And she said, get him a laptop. Get him a laptop so he could start doing this. He could start learning how to do a business. And I was able to get her this 2-carat ring right here, which I won't even tell you guys how much that cost, but it was a pretty little penny. But my point is that this business has been able to change my life. And now I am dedicated to helping people become the first generation millionaires in their company, or in their family rather. Okay. And so if you have been like, man, I deserve to be a millionaire. Okay. Drop a 2 if you feel like you deserve to be a millionaire, not just for the money, but for the contribution. Okay. For the ability to give back, for the ability to take care of people and places and things. Okay. It's not just about you. It's about what can you contribute to. Okay. And that is what, checks like these for $41,000 allow us to do. Okay. They allow us to contribute, give back, live the life we want, and just have an amazing time helping people. All right. So let's talk about how we did this. Okay. And listen, if you don't take anything else out of this training tonight, I want you to take this out. Okay. There is a cycle of poverty that the average person is ushered into. Okay. When they tell us to go to school, get good grades, go to college, graduate, work till we're 65, retire, and then travel for 10 years and die, that is not the way the Lord planned it. Okay. That's not how this life is supposed to go. But many of us have found ourselves in this poverty cycle. Okay. And if you're not aware of what it is, basically it means that we work 9 to 5. Okay. We sit in traffic for 2 hours. We drop our kids off at daycare, right? And then we come home, we're tired. We got to cook dinner. We got to do all these things, only to be underpaid, to have bills, to only have 2 weeks of vacation every single year, no savings, and then be in a bunch of debt, right? That then puts us back in the system. Okay. This was my story for many, many years, until I stumbled across the information that I'm going to be teaching you today. And so I had to learn how to break the poverty cycle. Okay. And one of the ways that we learned how to break the poverty cycle was by understanding what debt is. Okay. Most people are not taught this. Most people don't understand there's good debt and there's bad debt. All right. And what we learned how to do was we learned how to use debt to get out of debt. Okay. I mean, it sounds crazy, but no one talks about this. No one teaches this. All right. And so you need to learn that too if you want to get out of poverty, because every successful person has taken out a loan, they have borrowed money, they have started a business, and that's just the way that things work. Okay. Only the people who don't understand this are the ones who continuously think they're going to outwork inflation. They think they're going to outwork the economy, and it never happens. All right. Now, How do we break the cycle? Well, it's very simple. Okay. It's not by working more jobs. It's about understanding how the system works. All right. And here's how the system works. So essentially, there's 4 quadrants in the system that we were ushered into as kids. All right. Quadrant number 1 is the E quadrant. All right. So 99% of us went to school to become employees. Okay. To become employees. Once we realize that the employee way is not going to get us our dreams, it's not going to set our families up, it's going to have us living paycheck to paycheck, we decide to become self-employed. Okay. Now, self-employed literally stands for slavery. Okay. Because what ends up happening is you go start a business thinking that, well, I don't have a boss, but now you become a slave to your actual business. You become a slave to, you know, the thing that you started, because you're like, well, I'm good at, this thing, and I'm going to start a business, but you don't really understand what it takes to start a business. Okay. Then we have the other side of the quadrant, and this is what we should have been taught in school. Okay. What we should have been taught in school was how to become business owners. Okay. And how to leverage systems, right? So self-employed people become slaves to their business. Business people become freedom seekers because they get to have freedom because now they have a system that works for them. Okay, it's a really simple thing. And then what people do is they take their earnings and they invest. Okay, they invest into stocks, they invest into real estate. They have an investor's mindset. Okay, and so if I can't give you anything else today, what I'm going to show you today is how do you switch from this side of the quadrant where you're an employee or a slave to the business owner systems based side where you can become an investor. Okay, this is the stuff that rich people talk about at the dinner table. Okay, this is the stuff that rich people talk about at the dinner table. So if your parents never sat you down and showed you this, okay, it's not their fault. It's just that information like this is rarely shared. All right. So hopefully you value what I'm going to teach you today, and we can get you on the side of the investor, get you on the side of the business owner, and get you out of thinking just because you got a high paying job, like that means something. No, what? Listen, when your kids turn 18, they're not going to ask you about your high paying job. They're going to ask you, why weren't you there? They're going to ask you, why didn't you pick them up from school? They're going to ask you, why did you have to miss games? They're going to ask you, why were you so tired? Right? So we want to get you on this side of the equation. Okay. So if you're ready to break the poverty cycle, do me a favor in the comments, type in break the cycle. Okay. Break the cycle. I want to see this in the comment section. Break the cycle. Because many people aren't going to take the time out and really teach you this. Okay. They're not going to show you this, but I'm going to really show you exactly how all of this works. Okay. So we're going to break the cycle today. And I'm going to show you that I'm proof a D student, special education, not a really good, educational background, lives an amazing life. All right. So let's get into this. All right. Now, I stumbled across an industry, okay, that was a hybrid of affiliate marketing and network marketing. Okay. And I was taught by my mentor that if I want to be successful, I need to find a niche market. Okay. I need to find a niche market. A lot of the reasons why people don't make money is because they don't understand what niche markets are. They only want to sell what they like, not what the market is placing a demand on. Okay. So the reason why I'm able to make on demand money is because I'm in a market where there's a demand. Okay. I'm giving you some business acumen right now. All right. Now, what we found was that the water industry is a $6 billion industry per year. Okay. $6 billion is spent on water every single year. Now, one of the things that I learned about business is that if you want to be successful in business, you don't go out and try and start a business. What you do is you find a niche market that's already producing customers, and then you figure out a way to get and siphon a piece of those customers, like a piece of that market. And that's how you make money, and that's how you de-risk, right? You're not gambling trying to figure something out. If we know that the market's already generating $655 billion, okay, then we know that money's changing hands. All we have to do is put ourselves on the cutting edge of the market, and we will make money. Okay, this is how come I'm successful in every business venture that I start, because I understand the concepts that I just gave you right now. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper into this. Okay, did you know that over 400 billion liters of bottled water is sold every single year? All right, and some of the key players in this industry are Nestle, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, and Fiji Water. Now, here's the reality. Unless you're a key shareholder, which you're probably not, all right, it's unlikely that you will ever be able to take advantage of the growth of the bottled water industry. But that's okay, because the market is shifting. Now, the reason why it's shifting is because consumers are becoming increasingly more health conscious and are actively seeking alternative ways to getting healthier. And after evaluating over 18 bottled water products, one study found that 25,000 chemicals are in bottled water. Okay, that's absolutely disgusting. And consumers, they've grown more wary about the environmental impact of bottled water, because the production and disposal of plastic bottles is damaging our planet and our ecosystems. And all of this is expected to hinder the growth of the bottled water industry. Now, remember, I told you there's $600 billion flowing into bottled water industry, and this bottled water market takes up a lot of that revenue, but there is a shift happening. Okay. Now, change brings opportunity. Okay. Change brings opportunity. And you see, successful people understand that in order to become wealthy, they must identify and understand trends and market cycles. In other words, you must keep up with the trends and watch for the next big thing. All right. Now, I want you to understand this and hear me loud and clearly. Every market cycle has something called an early adopter of cutting edge technology. And those early adopters of cutting edge technology always come out on top. Always. Right? So the question is, what's the next big thing in the $600 billion water sector? Well, luckily for you, tonight, we're going to expose it to you. Okay. And we believe that the next big thing is something called a water ionizer. Okay. It's a water ionizer. All right. And water ionizers, the market right now is $3.6 billion. Okay. And Digital Journal has it in the US alone forecast to be $1.7 billion in the United States alone. And you see, our preferred product right now only has a 3% market penetration, which means that there is a massive opportunity for you and I right now to get on the cutting edge of this business. In fact, that's exactly how I was able to make, $112,000 today, because of understanding this information. All right. So let's talk about the premium product. All right. It's by a company called Enagic. And essentially what myself and 20,000 other distributors are that I help do this. Okay. We are what's called independent distributors. All right. Which means that we have the ability to operate as entrepreneurs without all of the overhead, the headaches of owning and running a retail or brick and mortar business. Okay. So we literally get to work from our laptops and run our own businesses. Now, some of our clients are people like Kevin Hart, Mariah Carey, Tony Robbins, Kylie Jenner, the Los Angeles Dodgers, Grant Cardone, Floyd Mayweather, Tom Brady, Manny Pacquiao. I mean, there's so many people that are getting on this trend of healthy drinking water that it would blow your mind at, where this is really going to go. Okay. Now, our flagship product is called the Levoluc RK8, right? So we have an actual physical product, and the reason why this product is so powerful is because it is our flagship product. And our flagship product, the Level RK8, it has 8 platinum dipped solid titanium plates. It has 560 inches of square ionization surface. It cleans itself. It's intuitive. It has an HD touch panel. It speaks 8 different languages, which is 7 more than I do. It's portable. It accepts all type of electrical power. It has intelligent filter chips that track the usage of the water. I mean, this thing is literally cutting edge technology. And every home, just like they have the microwave, will have this. Everybody will have this. Okay, because the city water is contaminated. The city water is dirty, it's got chemicals, and your Brita filter is not going to help you. And in fact, the molecular structure of city water is not even conducive for the body. You know, I mean, there's so many scientific things that I could break down to you about this, but this is our product. Okay, this is our flagship product. Now, there's about 68 different use cases for this water that range from, our 2.5 water, which kills germs, viruses, and bacteria on contact. Okay, that's a little button. You press 2.5. Then you got the strong acidic water. Then we have our 6.0 beauty water, which is the same pH level as the skin. Okay. And, ladies, if you're washing your face at night and you are taking your makeup off and you want to not have all, those wrinkles and cracked skin and dried out, dehydrated skin, you need to be using the 6.5. Okay. In fact, I normally carry around a little splitzer of 6.5, and just throughout the day, I'll spray it on my face. Right. And listen, if you do what I do, you'll look like this too. Okay. So you got to get you some 6.5. Now, we also have our 7.0 water. Okay. This is water that is perfect for baby formula. Okay. Because it's chlorine free. And also too, it is a natural water that tastes delicious. So it's perfect for the kids. Then we have our 8.5 drinking water. And again, and the way you access this water, you press a little button on the machine, boop, and it'll spit out these different kinds of water. Okay, the 8.5 is our hydrogen-rich water, which works to restore the body back to an alkaline state. And it is very, very good if you want optimal health. It promotes better sleep, better energy, and it helps you lose weight. Okay, and then we have our 9.5 alkaline water. Again, this is all in the same technology, all in the same machine. Okay, it is our drinking water, which flushes out the body from harmful toxins. It deeply hydrates the body at a cellular level. Okay, that's why most of you guys are thirsty all the time, because the water's not absorbing, and it allows for increased immunity against diseases. All right. Now the 11.5 is our emulsifier. Okay, this removes pesticides, herbicides from your fruits, from your vegetables. It cleans greasy surfaces. It can even be used as a laundry detergent. Okay, if you're feeding your kids vegetables, and some of you guys are going to hear this is going to go in one ear and out the other, it's just so sad, and you're not using 11.5, you are literally poisoning your kids. Like they're eating poison that was sprayed out there on the chemical fields. Okay, and that grease and that grime that's on those vegetables was designed so that when it rains, the chemicals don't come off. That's why they have organic and they have non-organic. Okay, all that means is this has poison and this kind of doesn't have poison. Okay, but even the organic ones still need to be rinsed thoroughly. Okay, so this is what our machine does. Now, the company's been around since 1974. It's more credible than you and me. Okay, it's been around for over 51 years. Okay, nothing stays around for 51 years that's not credible. And basically, they are the leading manufacturers of water ionization systems that filter water through a process called electrolysis. Okay, and electrolysis produces this super hydrating, alkaline, antioxidant, hydrogen-rich water that tastes phenomenal. Okay, this water is so good. I wasn't a water drinker for probably like 10 years. Okay, and this water made me a believer. Okay, literally. Again, now this is a Japanese-based company, so we don't have to deal with all the US shenanigans or the Canadian shenanigans, because I don't know what's going on in these two countries. So the headquarters is in Japan. There's hundreds of thousands of distributors, and there's this thing's in homes all across the world. Okay, now it also has some of the highest certifications in the world. Okay, so the ISO certification, I encourage you to look that up. Okay, it takes 13 years for a company to get qualified for this, right? And we have that certification, which means that the company went through a thorough audit, a thorough background. Like there's a lot to this, okay? So that's why a lot of people feel comfortable and safe with our technology. Now, there's also 43 locations in over 28 countries. So, I mean, I've got people in Italy right now, okay, that are literally out there. There's actually a conference going on out there. They've been in Italy, I believe, for 15 years. Okay, they're in Romania, they're in Russia, they're in Toronto. I mean, they're all over. And these are like offices that you can like physically go into. Okay, you can bring customers there, you can pick up products, you can service the machines. You have a staff that literally works for you that you don't got to pay for. Okay, that's why we are so excited about this company, because it's global. So let's say if you want to travel the world and you want to live in Australia, you have an office that you can work out of. If you want to work out of Dubai, there's an office that you can work out of, okay? Or you can just work from your laptop, submit your orders from home, and call it a day. Okay, that's kind of what I do. All right. Now, a couple of other products we have is the Anespa DX, which is our shower unit. This thing gives you a continuous stream of moisturizing and mineralizing healthy water. So it's good for your hair, it's good for your skin, and it removes the chlorine out of your shower. Okay, some of you guys are about to go take a chlorine bath after this, and you think you're doing your body justice, but you're literally harming your organs because that chlorine is seeping through your skin and it is causing you a lot of damage. All right. And then we have our organic turmeric supplement. This stuff is, I mean, it is powerful. Okay. And the reason why is because the health benefits. So this acts as a natural antibiotic. Okay, I take these every day. In fact, I got some right here. Okay, literally all I do is I just crack this open, pop them in the back, boom. Now I got a natural antibiotic. I got anti-aging properties. I mean, look at me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like all I do is pop these every day. These are like limitless pills. You ever see that movie Limitless? That's kind of what this is. It improves the skin condition. Okay, you can see me, I have no wrinkles. Okay, I'm still a young man, right? Speeds up the healing process. It acts as a natural antiseptic and it's anti-inflammatory. Okay, most diseases are caused from inflammation. The question is, how are you combating inflammation? Or are you just ignoring it until you get the call from the doctor? Okay, these are things that you need to really take heed to. Okay, and these are the products that we get to promote in the marketplace, and it's just tremendous. Okay, it's just a tremendous opportunity, and all this can be worked from anywhere in the world. I mean, I go on vacation all the time. In fact, I'm about to go on vacation again here in a couple of weeks, and I just take my business with me. I run it from my phone, from my laptop. We have a good time. We chill. The family's here. Like it's absolutely amazing, and that's what I want for you as well. All right. Now let's talk about the paradigm shift here. Okay. Because I know a lot of you guys aren't on here to hear about electrolysis, to hear about water. You are like Jerry Maguire. You're like, show me the money. Okay. Well, in order for you to see the money, you need to change and shift your paradigms. Okay. Because in order for you to change your life, you have to change what's coming in and what's coming out. And most people don't know how to hold a vision. They don't know how to see an opportunity. They don't understand how money works. And, the secret to success is right in front of them, but they just overlook it. And, it's just all bad. Okay. So today we're going to shift this. Okay. Because you can't change a problem at the same level of thinking it was created at. So if you're skeptical right now, okay, and you're broke, these are two major problems, okay? Because you've created both of them at the same level of thinking, all right? So if you are skeptical, remove your skepticism, okay? Don't worry about what the costs, don't worry about money. Money is an illusion. Okay, money's not even real. Literally, right? So don't worry about that. Pay attention to what I'm telling you so that way you can step into your best life. All right? Now, let's get into this, okay? When I was 14 years old, I was studying two guys. Okay, the first guy's name is Ray Kroc. The second guy, his name is Colonel Sanders. And the reason why I studied these guys is because when I was 14, my mom gave me a book called The E-Myth. Okay, and at 14 years old, I started studying business models. And basically, what I learned in the E-Myth is that there's something called an entrepreneurial seizure, where people get into businesses because they think they're good at something, right? It's like, if I'm good at underwater basket weaving, I'm going to start an underwater basket weaving business, but then I'm stressed out, right? You ever met somebody who's like good at something, they start a business and then their life just goes to shambles, right? That's because they didn't have a system, right? So what I learned from the E-Myth is that these guys created something called the franchise system. Okay. And it is a model in which you can run a business, leave a legacy, and actually have freedom in your business and have a business live even longer than you. Okay. So the question we should all be asking ourselves is, what does it mean to leave a legacy? Well, I have 4 definitions. Number 1 is memories. Okay. You want to leave memories behind with your kids. Number 2, you want to leave morals. Okay. So you want to be able to be there for your kids to teach them morals. Number 3 is mindsets. And number 4 is money. Now, even if you're making a lot of money at your job right now, you might be getting robbed of this legacy because you don't have time to create memories. You can't even take a day off. You can't take a week off, right? You don't have money because you know what? Maybe inflation or whatever, like your job isn't keeping up with it. Or maybe you do have the money, but your lifestyle has overshadowed it. Okay. Mindset, right? It's like, when are you going to actually sit down and teach, be there for your kids, right? Like they're going through things and you at work doing something and you can't even, bring them up. And then morals, social media, TikTok, Instagram is conditioning your kids to behave a certain way and you're not even there. Okay. So we have to change this. Okay. Which is why we homeschool our kids, right? Because we don't want them dorking around out there with all that stuff. All right. Now, the Bible says, Proverbs 13:22, that a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And even if you don't believe in Jesus, okay, this is still a principle that you should abide by, that a good person leaves an inheritance to their children's children, right? You're becoming aware right now that you can leave an inheritance. So if you don't do it, it's just selfish. I always tell people, you cannot pass down a job. You can't, right? Like you don't get to, okay, I worked here 50 years, I'm giving this to my son. No. All you get to do is build somebody else's dream, build somebody else's vision, build somebody else's lifestyle. And then when you get old, you have nothing to show for it except for a little bitty pension. Okay. And I'm just keeping it real with you guys. So we got to change this. And the best way to change this is through what we call the franchise prototype business model. Okay. The franchise prototype business model. Okay. So let me explain what I mean. Now, most people, when they see a McDonald's, they think that McDonald's business is selling burgers, shakes, and fries. But the real business that McDonald's is in is selling franchises. Okay, let that sink in. McDonald's is not in the business of selling burgers, shakes, and fries. They don't try to improve the recipes. They don't try to improve the calories. They're in the business of selling franchises. In other words, they're in the business of finding entrepreneurs to sell them a business. Okay, let that sink in. And it costs about $2 million to do that. Now, KFC is not in the chicken, French fries, and soft drinks industry. They're in the franchising business, which means they sell businesses to entrepreneurs. Okay, there's 2 businesses. There's the product business, and then there's the business of the franchise prototype. Now, why do I discuss this with you? Because our business is designed the same exact way. The only difference is we don't have to spend $2 million to launch our business. We don't have to be tied to a brick and mortar location. We don't have to manage employees. We don't have to manage staff. We don't have to deal with, customer support, import, export, shipping, returns. We have a whole staff that does that for us. What we get to do is act as the franchisor, and we can either do one of 2 things. We can find entrepreneurs who want to start a business, just like Ray Knox and Colonel Sanders did, or we can sell the products, meaning that we can find people who want these products, who want to get healthier, and we can sell it directly to them. Okay. Most businesses in this world, you can't do that. Okay. And this is our advantage. You know how many people right now are looking to make money from home? They're looking to start a business, but they just don't have an organization or something that's credible that they can get into, by the way, with zero money down, okay? When you really get a vision for that, you're going to be like, OMG, I get it. Okay, I see why this is so powerful. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind as we go throughout this. There's two types of businesses. There's products and services, and then there's the franchise prototype model. Okay, which is what I recommend because I love helping entrepreneurs start businesses. Okay, now here's why you need to listen to everything that I'm telling you right now. All right, because they don't teach this in school. There's something in business called the J curve. Okay, and you can see this curve right here. It looks like a J. Okay, so that's why they call it a J curve. This is real business right here. Okay, now how we find opportunities is we utilize the J curve. What we do is we look at something in its current state. Okay, so for example, you guys remember Blockbuster Video? Okay, so Blockbuster Video at one time was the current state of how we used to watch videos. Then there was a period of disruption, which was the internet. Okay. That period of disruption brought us Netflix. Okay. And what that did was that created an opportunity for Blockbuster to get on board and be the next Netflix because they already had they already had the market share, but they didn't see the vision. Okay. So they lost and Netflix put them out of business. And then people who bought the stock, people who understood what was going on, they rode this J curve all the way up to now it's everybody's desired state to have Netflix. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you because nobody else is going to teach you this. The water industry is in the same exact situation. Right now, there's the current state of water. Technology, which is what we have, has disrupted it. Okay, and as more people become aware, they are going to purchase water ionizers, and then we're going to ride the J curve all the way up to the point to where everybody will desire to have clean drinking water. I mean, growing up, I don't remember anybody ever talking about organic vegetables. I never even knew that was a thing until my 30s. I'm just keeping it real. I never even heard about organic vegetables. I never even heard about kale until I was like 30. Okay. Like, so let's just be honest, right? Same thing with the 9 to 5s. Okay. Watch this. And then I'm moving on because I need you to understand how serious this is. Current state is you're working a 9 to 5, you think you got job security, you're having to pay all this money for college degrees, you're even telling your kids to go do this stuff, which is crazy to me, right? What's happening is we are entering into this stage right here of AI technology, which is going to disrupt the job market. Okay, Amazon just laid off 14,000 people. Why? Because it's the beginning of the disruption period, because AI technology is coming in to steal your job. I'm just telling you the truth right now. And then what's going to happen is people are going to start to disrupt businesses, or businesses are going to start being disrupted by AI technology. Now, we had a first disruption, if you guys remember, when the internet came and now people could hire people overseas for a fraction of the cost. They could hire people in the Philippines and Russia and India and all these places. And that took away a lot of jobs. That's why when you call your bank and it sounds like somebody in India, that's because it's somebody in India. Okay. So don't think that you're just going to mosey on through this AI era. No, AI is coming for your job. Okay. And you don't got to listen to me if you don't want to, but you'll see. Just like Blockbuster didn't listen, you could be Blockbuster or you could be Netflix. Okay. And so as technology begins to advance, it's going to create opportunities for those who understand the J curve. Okay, I'm giving you a bunch of free game right now. Okay, because nobody else is going to tell you this. You're just going to get smacked in the face one day, lose your job, and you're going to be on your porch crying, asking what happened. Okay, and then you're going to memorize that guy Brandon told us this was going to happen. Okay, now again, if you want to find something that makes sense, okay, you have to find trends. So what we know is that the water ionization market by 2032 is going to be worth $5.6 billion. We're in 2025 at the time of recording this, which means we have 7 years before it gets to $5.67 billion. There's money everywhere. Okay. You just have to understand how to get your hands on it. All right, now let's shift gears. Let's talk about low ticket versus high ticket. A lot of times you come to, a presentation like this, somebody's trying to sell you something in the old economy, something that costs, let's say, $150. And you're enticed by it because you're like, oh, well, it's just $150. That's not a lot of money, right? But what you don't realize is that the commissions are 20% and you get paid, let's say, $30 per sale. Now, here's the reality. In order to make $1,000, you need to make 35 sales per month. Ludicrous. In order to make $5,000 a month, you have to sell 167 products a month. Ludicrous. All right. And then if you want to make $10,000 a month, which, by the way, in high ticket is our minimum wage, is 334 products per month. And that's assuming you have a 50% closing ratio and you're able to talk to 668 people every single month. Now, why would you get into a business model that pays like this? There's no time freedom. There's no leverage. It's just a bunch of hype, okay? And a bunch of people peddling products that ain't making no money, okay? Now, if you think about high ticket, on the other hand, like our business, okay, basically $10,000 a month you can make with just 4 sales, okay? You can make with 4 sales. In fact, with 1 or 2 sales now with our business, with the packages that we have, you can make that with 1 sale or 2 sales, okay? So here's 9 reasons why we love this business. Okay, number 1, high commissions. High commissions, okay? I just showed you guys, I mean, I have the checks right here, okay? 50K, like high commissions. If I wanted to, I could take the rest of the year off, okay? And I still would be making cash flow. No overhead. I don't want to have to open up a business. I don't want to have to carry inventory. I don't want to have to deal with customer support. I don't want to have to deal with customers, problems and all that kind of stuff. I want to be able to introduce people to the product, show them the franchise prototype business model, and let the billion-dollar company that's backing me do the rest and be on the beach with my kids hanging out. Okay. No D-rankings, which means that you hit a certain level or hit a certain ranking, and they snatch it from you and say, okay, go do it again. And then they snatch it from you until you go do it again. We don't have that here. Once you hit a certain level with the company honor and respects you. Okay. It's crazy. I might even show you guys something at the end that's going to blow your mind, but it's crazy what you're building. What we're building here is an asset. Okay. Not an income. There's a difference. Okay. There's passive income. Okay. Those checks that I just showed you today, those are passive. I wasn't out there sweating by my brow, breaking my back trying to make that money. That's passive income. Okay, this is a global movement. Okay, imagine having people working for you in Australia, in New Zealand, in Japan, in Portugal, in California. I mean, you can have Hong Kong, India. Like, you can have people literally marketing these machines for you with our proprietary system. Okay. And like literally working for you. I mean, it's crazy. Okay. And personal development. Okay. Yeah, Kazakhstan. Yes. Listen, Russia. Okay. And personal development. All right. The reason why 99% of people are broke is because they are not personally developing. Okay. Your money can only grow as fast and as far as you develop. So we teach people how to personal development, how to become a winner, how to become financially free. Okay. You have to become that. Okay. Then we have no door knocking, no cold calling, and we have done for you systems. Okay. Literally, guys, I have 20 to 30 people every single day reaching out, asking me about my business. No joke. Like, I could show you proof. Okay. All from my computer. But I also go out in the field. Okay. Because I want to meet people. I met a lady today. She was out in the rain. Okay. Running around from gas station to gas station. And my reticular activation is looking for leaders. So I saw her when I was pumping gas, and I chased her down, and she was coming out of 7-Eleven. I stopped her. I had a quick conversation with her. I'm going to be taking this lady to lunch because she needs freedom. She don't need to be out in the rain like that. She needs to be breaking through. Okay. So there's so much that we can do here and we can build here for the long term. Okay. Now, the compensation plan that I'm going to share with you, I guarantee you've never seen this before. Okay. Mr. Oshiro patented this compensation plan because it is the best income stream that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like there's nothing else. Even CEOs that are on the cap table and that are getting splits of the company, they're not even getting paid like this. Okay, because essentially we get to, be on the cap table, not technically, but technically, and we get a percentage of the company's revenue every single quarter. Okay, we'll talk about that more in a little bit. All right, so let's talk about how the business and the money works. Okay, I still lose sleep. You know, if I went out there and told my wife right now, you know what, I got $100,000 sitting on my desk, she would be like, okay, did you take the trash out? Like, we don't even think about the money, okay? Because it flows. But let me show you how this works, okay? So this is our flagship product, okay? It's gonna run you about $6,380 in Canada, and about 8,000, sorry, and about $5,890 in the USD. Now, before you get all, oh my God, Brandon, I don't have that money. Before you get into your flesh, right? Just listen. Okay. Rich people don't care about the price of something, because if it's something that can make them money, they know there's a whole industry where they can borrow money and they can use that money in order to get the product and then make it free. Like, broke people don't understand this. I didn't understand this. I thought because I didn't have the money, that was an excuse for why I couldn't get into something. No, rich people don't be having money for stuff either, because rich people are always investing into bigger things. So they're borrowing money. You just got to get on the same wavelength. Okay. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to borrow money, then stay broke, stay where you are, and see how that turns out. I'm just being honest with you. Okay. Listen to what I'm telling you. 99% of the customers that purchase this product or get involved with this business, they put zero money down. So money's not a factor. Doesn't matter if you have $6,380. In fact, if you don't have that money, you need to be listening to this. Okay. Because you're too grown. I'm just being honest with you. Okay. I can help you, but you have to detach from the fear of money. It's not about what you have now. It's about the opportunity and then learning how to use the financial systems to grow. That's what I did. Okay. Now let me keep cooking for a second here. So the reason why this business model works is because people can put zero money down. And then what happens is when you make a sale, okay, or you refer somebody to the product or the franchise prototype model that we have, okay, the commissions are going to be as following. Okay, basically they're going to be around 3,280 in Canada, and then 2,808 in the USD. And the way that it works is the company breaks it up into 8 points. Okay, so basically each point pays out about $410. Okay, in Canada, and then 351 in the USD. So let's say somebody refers somebody to this machine. Okay, the company's gonna pay out 8 points. Okay, and then you see 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A. Basically, what happens is, the company will pay you according to how many franchise prototypes you own. So if you're just a 1A, you're gonna get 1 point, which is $410. When you get to 3 units, you're gonna get 2 points. 2A, 820. 3A, which is 10 units sold, 1,200. 4A, you get 4 points, 4 times. Okay, you guys see the math there, right? 50 sells, 2,050. And then 6A, which is 100 sells, you get $2,460. Now, here's the two most important words on this slide: group sales. Okay, group sales, which means that I don't have to personally do 10 sales. I may do 2, but then let's say I refer this to somebody and they do 8. That puts 10 group sales. And guess what I'm getting paid now? Right? I'm now getting paid this right here, 1,230 per sale. Okay, so there's leverage here. Okay, so you might be asking, Brandon, how does the leverage work? Well, let me show you. Okay, just like in real estate, okay, there's the broker and there's the agent. The brokers tend to make more money than the agents because they get a cut off all of the agents. Okay, every business works like this. The agents get licensed, they pay a fee. The agents usually hang their license with the broker. They pay a fee to hang their license, or they pay a desk fee. Okay. And then the agent gives them a cut off all of the houses that they sell. It goes under their broker's license. And then that's just how it works. It works like this in insurance. It works like this everywhere. Okay. In fact, Jeff Bezos, the billionaire, he became a billionaire off of this model. In other words, what he did is said, okay, I'm going to set up a platform. These people down here can buy products from like Alibaba or whatever, and then they can come to my platform, put it up there. Okay. They're going to give me 30% off each sell. They'll keep 70. And then from there, they're going to sell them to the consumers. Okay. Now those consumers can go to Amazon. They can sell the same products too. They just got to buy the products, and then they're going to pay Jeff Bezos a commission. This is how it works in every single business. Okay. Just people don't understand how this works. They're just out of touch because they're bred to be employees. This is above the employee pay grade. Okay. So I'm exposing it to you right now so you can have a fighting chance to get out of the struggle. Okay. Now let's take a look at a real world example of how this works. Let's say I refer a machine to a guy named James, right? I'm going to get a check in the mail for $410. Now, James, he doesn't have to sell anything. He doesn't have to market anything. He just says, you know what? I got kids. I want them to have the best drinking water. I want to be healthy. I want to get rid of inflammation. I want to live a good life. So I'm just going to buy the machine. Okay. That's what Grant Cardone, Kevin Hart, they don't sell the machines. They just bought them. Okay. Now let's say the next person I refer is Ashley. Okay. So I'll make another $410 off of that sale. Now, let's say Ashley's like, you know what? I know 5 moms who all could use this, or I know 5 realtors that when they close a property, they're going to send me out to do a water test. And then I'm going to basically hook up machines in that house. Okay. And let's say 5 realtors sent her business that month, right? So she would have made 410, 410, 820, 820, 820 her first month. Okay. But guess what? Because you refer to Ashley in the franchise prototype model, look at this. You get a whopping 5 checks for $410 each. That's crazy. I mean, you don't got to talk to nobody. You don't got to check in with anybody. And we get paid every week. Okay. Let's say the next person you refer is Ricky. Now you get paid $820 because you have 3 sales under you. Look, James, Ashley, Ricky, 3. You're 2A now. Means you get 2 points. Means you got 820 off Ricky's sell. Okay. And let's say that, you know, Ricky's first month, he goes out and he refers 4 people. He's going to get 410, 410, 820, 820. He's going to love you, but you're going to love him more. You know why? Because you're going to get 5 checks in the mail for $820 and you didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Ricky did all the transactions, all the referring, all the sales. And now every time Ricky gets up and goes out, you're making money from Ricky. You're making money from Ashley. You're making money from James. Just like a real estate broker. Same thing. Their agents go out every day. They do open houses. They do sales. Boom. They make money. The only difference is our money's more consistent and our money is bigger. Okay. I'm just being honest with you. I work with a lot of realtors. All right. Next is Jen. Okay. Let's say you refer somebody named Jen. You come in now, you're making $1,230. Okay. Let's say Jen does 10 units her first month. Okay. She's going to make all this commission. And you're going to love her. You know why? Because you're going to make all this commission passively off her sales. Okay. This actually happened to me when I first got started. I went to Hawaii. I made so much money simply off what I'm showing you right now because Jen went out, she made some sales, and I got passive checks from all of those sales. Okay. And then it just keeps going. 5A right here. Okay. You are going to get $1,640 per sale. So let's say you sell a machine to a guy named Steve. He refers 5 people. Okay. He's going to get 410, 410, 820, 820. Okay. And then you're going to get $1,600 per sale. Okay. And then it just keeps on going all the way to 6A where you get $2,460. Okay. Now let's wrap this up. Okay. This is the most important slide, in my opinion, of this whole presentation. So once you get to 6A, you're going to get a $3,000 bonus, but you're also going to get 4 other bonuses as well. Okay. We can talk about those some other time. 6A2, you're going to get a $6,000 bonus, but you're going to get $18 a month and $22 a quarter on every single sale. Okay. 6A2-2, which basically means, so let me just clarify this. 682 means your organization did 100 sales, this person's organization did 100 sales, and your person's organization does 100 sales. Okay. 682-2, you get a $12,000 bonus plus $18 a month, $25 a quarter on all your sales. And so that means that this person did 100, these two people did 100, and then there's two people under them that did 100 each. Okay. And now 682-3, this is where the big money comes in. Okay. And actually, big money comes in here too. I mean, I have people that do over $1 million in these ranks as well too. But 682-3 is where the big money comes in. Okay. So basically, you get a $25,000 bonus, and you get $5,000 a month for the rest of your life. Okay. This is what you can pass down to your kids and things like that. Plus, you get $14 a month on every unit that organization sells. So if they sell 1,000 units, okay, you're going to make what, $14,000 extra on top of the 5,000. So that's 19 grand every single month. And you can pass it down to your kids. 682-4 is 50,000. Okay. You make $10,000 a month for the lifetime of this rank, and you could pass this down to your kids. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. Now, listen, like I was able to make, so when we went -3 and -4, okay, I was able to make over $100,000 in bonuses just from these two ranks. Okay. Not 50,000, 25,000. It was actually close to like 150,000 just in bonuses, not including all the other sales and things I did to get there. Not including, listen, not including the monthly of 10,000, 5,000, not including the quarterly bonuses. So also every quarter, this company pays you, it's almost like a dividend. Okay. They pay you a quarterly income based on the sales of your entire organization. Okay. And these these quarterly bonuses are big. Okay. If you're producing. And then it goes up to 682-5, where you get $100,000. And then 682-6, where you get $200,000, $20,000 a month here, $15,000 a month there, -7, 400,000, $40,000. Imagine getting $40,000 a month for the rest of your life. And then 682-8, which is $800,000 and 80,000 a month. I know people right now that are making $40,000 a month on top of their unit bonuses of 10,000. I mean, these people are making a few hundred thousand every month. Okay, just from this right here. Plus, there's so many other bonuses like the profit share with the company and things like that we don't have time to get into. Okay. All right. So let's close this out. Let's say you saw this and you're like, Brandon, you had me at hello. Okay. Now it's crazy how some people they see this opportunity and then they jump off and then they go back to their 9 to 5 and then they're complaining about the economy. They're complaining about their jobs. It's like, bro, nobody's coming to save you. Santa Claus, the tooth fairy, they're not coming for you. So you better listen to what I'm telling you right now, because there is no other opportunity. Okay. So if I was to get started right now, knowing what I know, I would start with this, a Quad Plus, where you get 2 K8 machines, 3 Ukons, and you get 1 shower unit. Okay. Now, the reason why we love this is because when you get started with the Quad Plus, you're going to get $2,130 cash back. This is before you ever refer anybody or make any sales. Okay. That's also going to get you started at 5A commissions instantly versus having to wait for 50 group sales, which means that you're going to get paid a whopping $7,140 per Quad Plus sell. Okay. How long would it take you to make this in any other profession? You could sell this in 1 day. Okay. It's crazy. $7,000 one transaction. $2,000 per K8. So if you just sell one of these K8 machines, you make $2,000. Okay. Imagine if you did 4 of these a week. That's 10 grand. That's crazy. Okay. 3 of these Quad Pluses pays back your investment. And it also helps you rank up faster when you sell these Quad Pluses. Selling 6 units at a time means that 16 Quad Pluses get you to 6A. It's 100% tax write-off. Again, you got to talk to your CPA, your attorney. Don't take my advice. I'm a D student, but I'm just telling you what is possible. 6 distributor IDs. People buy what you own. Okay. So let me conclude this. I want you to think about what I just showed you here. Okay. One sale per month, one referral. Listen, you could go out and meet. Listen, somebody's going to smarten up. They're going to go out and they're going to meet, let's say, 100 realtors. And every time those realtors sell a home, they're going to get referred to them, and they're going to make one quad plus sell every single month for 12 months, and they're going to make $98,000 in additional income. I always tell realtors, if you're selling homes, why wouldn't you be doing this? Because you can add if you sell 12 homes a year, which most realtors don't. But let's say if they do, or if they did, or they know people, you could be making an extra $98,000 a year. Okay? Think about this. With 2 quad plus sales, right? That's extra $196,000 a year. If you're in insurance, why wouldn't you be selling these to your insurance people? If you're a CPA, why wouldn't you be doing that? That's an extra $196,000 a year. From 3 sales a month, $294,000, 4 sales, $392,000. What I like to tell my students to do is just go make relationships. Okay? Go out there, meet realtors, meet cafe owners, meet people. Have them refer you, or if they're smart, they'll sign up, and then you just help them with the business. Okay? That's how all this works. All right? So I'm going to leave you with this, okay? I don't know anything else right now think about this. If you do 4 transactions, okay, 4 for a 12-month cycle, you're making almost 400 grand. Like, how many homes would a person have to sell to make? Come on, man. Like, what are we even talking about right now? Okay. So I want to leave you with this. Okay. If not now, then when? You've been praying for a breakthrough. You've been asking for somebody to come in and guide you and mentor you and help you. And now you have met that person. Okay. I literally started from the bottom. I used to sleep in my car. Okay. I used to be broke. I used to beg for money. There was times where I couldn't even eat because I didn't have no money. Okay. I know what it's like to struggle and to not have opportunity. Okay. And right now, I am ready to lock arms with you. I'm ready to mentor you. I'm ready to show you how to do this. I'm ready to really get in your corner and show you how to create this lifestyle. Because if you don't get the vision from somebody, nothing's going to change. Okay. So what I'm giving you the opportunity to do right now is to lock arms with me, lock arms with the community, lock arms with the movement. Okay. Because to be honest with you, nobody's coming to save you. Right. And I want you to ask yourself a question. In fact, let me just show you one other thing before we get out of here. Why does my family deserve this right here? Like, why? Why do we deserve to go to 5-star resorts in Europe? Okay, this was actually in Portugal. That's my daughter's right there. Okay. This was in the Algarve. Google the Algarve. Some of you guys probably don't even know how to pronounce it or never even heard of it. Google the Algarves. It's in Portugal. You see those? Look at this right here. These are condos on the beach. Okay, literally on the beach, right? Why do we deserve that, but you don't? Okay, this is what's possible with this lifestyle. Can anybody guarantee you? No. But what I'm telling you is I can show you how to get there because I've been there. I'm there. Okay. In fact, this was back in, I want to say 2019 during COVID. Okay. We decided we weren't going to go along with what they were pushing out there. And we thought it was the end of the world, to be honest with you. So we were like, yo, we're selling everything and we're moving to Europe. That's exactly what we did. We found a little compound out here and we got out of there. And we had the best time of our lives on the beach, hanging out with the kids, doing all the things. I want that life for you. Okay. Here's another island. Okay. Here's another island that we often go to. Okay. Look at this. Why would you want to be at work when literally I can show you how to get out here? Okay. I can show you exactly, like, we have these cabins on the beach. We get to wake up to the sunset. Like, this life is for you. Okay. I'm trying to plead with you that don't be skeptical. Okay. Or be skeptical and just lose out. Okay. but this is how we get to spend our family time during our week. Okay. With our kids hanging out. This is during the week. This isn't on the weekend. Okay. We get to go out. We don't have to look at the menus. We don't have to look at the cost of things. We're not worried about what this cost, that cost. No, we get to live our best life because of this business model that I just showed you. Okay. This was us, I think, like 2 months ago at Disneyland. Okay. We flew from Canada all the way to Disneyland, and we had the best time. In fact, I overpaid for the tickets because they were sold out. I didn't even know Disneyland could sell out. They were sold out. So I had to spend $1,300 on tickets, right? To take my kids to Disneyland so that we can live our best life and that they can experience this. In fact, these Mickey ears right here, we spent $200 on Mickey ears. Okay. Like stuff costs, right? But that was only 1 or 2 points. So we weren't really even tripping about that. Okay. Imagine being able to go out to dinners like this. Again, I'm not bragging. I'm a D student. Like I'm a failure. Okay. But look at this. My wife just orders whole crabs just because. Like, I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do with all this? Okay. This is father and son time right here. Okay. This is my son right here driving these little cars at Disneyland. Right. I want you to create memories like this, and your 9 to 5 job is not going to get you there. Okay. I'm just going to be very, very, very blunt and honest with you. Okay. Now, here's the last thing I want to say about this: why you should work with me. I am proven. Okay. This is in my office. Look at this. All right. These are all awards that I have won from helping people, from becoming a top producer in this company. Okay. So I know exactly what is required to help you be successful. I know exactly what's required to get you cash flow. And, we're not just flashing checks. Okay. This is real. I post things like this because I want people to see there's no reason to struggle. So if you're ready to lock arms with us, I want you to get back to the person that invited you here. And I want you to tell them, I'm ready. Show me how the zero down options work. Show me how this works. I'm ready to be home with my kids. I'm ready to really start this business and really get out there and do something special. Okay. So if if you resonated with this, my friend, and you want to be able to do this kind of stuff with your kids during the day, like, now's the time. Okay. Lock arms with us. We've got training, we've got mentorship, we've got all the things that you need to be successful. Don't worry about if you're scared or if you're fearful or anything like that. Okay. Don't even worry about all that. Okay. We got you. We will take care of you and we will help you be successful. Okay. So let me see if there's any questions in there in the comments. If not, we can go ahead and wrap this up. But if you got any questions, I'll take a couple minutes just to answer anything. If not, we can push up out of here, and things like that. Okay. Things like that. So go ahead and drop your questions. If you're ready to get going, get back to the person that invited you here, because now's the time. There's never been a time like this in history for you to get started with us. We are doing millions of dollars in sales right now. So you never have to worry about, oh, is this going to work for me? Or that, do people actually buy these things? Guys, we did over $4 million in sales last month. Okay. 4 million. Like, who do you know? Like, come on. Like, what are we talking about here? Right. This is an environment where you're going to come in, you're going to get trained. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be skilled. You're going to develop, right? It's crazy how people find this opportunity. People ask for opportunities and then they want to remain the same. No, you're going to develop. We're going to teach you. You're going to learn. Okay. We're going to give you strategies. We're going to give you the mindsets. We're going to show you how to do this. So if you have any questions, right now is the time. Ask those questions. I'll take one more minute or so to answer. If not, listen, I always tell people this. Okay. You know where tomorrow leads if you do nothing, right? Let's say you do absolutely nothing right now. And you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go to work tomorrow and I'm just going to let my husband go to work or my wife go to work, and you do nothing. You know where that road leads. Your tomorrows are going to look just like your yesterdays. You know that 100%. Nothing's going to change. But if you decide to lock arms with us, we're going to show you a whole new world. Okay. And I ain't talking about Aladdin. I'm talking about a whole new world. Okay. So lock arms with us right now. We're going to be going to Japan in June of next year. You can lock in with us, create some memories, create some experiences. And yeah, I mean, now's the time. Like, there's nothing to worry about. That's what it is. So
Congratulations. I'm so proud of you for finishing this masterclass. That was a wealth of knowledge. And now it's time to take a next step. Book a quick call with me. I will answer all your questions. And just comment mailbox below and I will show you exactly what to do next. I'm going to teach you how to find quality leads, plug you into the systems, and my goal is to help you hit your core rank in your first months.